What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Rip City Rundown podcast. We are officially in probably the most dead part of the offseason. Damian Lillard trade rumors have dwindled. Summer League is over, and now we have the long, about 2-month trek until the season starts. I'll just go to you, West. How are you doing right now? What are we talking about today? What's the main course?
Well, first I want to say, this time of the year after summer league before training camp, to me is kind of like, I don't know, like the time of day, like 3 p.m. in the day where you like just eat lunch, and you're in like a food coma and you're just like, there's nothing going on and you just want to sleep. That's Blazers news right now because there's not much going on. We had a very emotional first part of the summer with the draft and people, not promising and under delivering, or sorry, promising and under delivering. And then, your superstar asked for a trade. So everyone's been worked up and emotional recently. And now it just kind of just like all just went to a absolute halt. And it's been kind of nice because I'm kind of tired of the same news being recycled, even though it is important. And I'm referring to the Damian Lillard trade saga, but it is nice to have like a week. I'm not gonna lie, the past week I haven't really thought much about the Blazers. There hasn't been much news. We had a nice discussion last week about, and I'm just gonna say it off the top because most people are in for the first few minutes. We still have that bet with the suit, right, Cole?
Yeah, we do.
All right. Do we just want to lay that out quick?
Yeah, I think the parameters are kind of confusing. I mean, we don't really have a set in stone line on when my predictions, right? Because basically what I said was Damian Lillard will end up in Miami and the package won't be awesome. Now,
I
I don't
said
know what
he'll
I mean by that.
either, and I said he won't end up in Miami, or Miami will fork over a package that is deemed acceptable, which that's where the gray area is. Um,
We can let Cody be the judge of that come the trade.
Yep.
yeah, we do. Cole and I have different opinions on what a good package is, what's not a good package. Cody, how are you doing post, or I guess not post, but just kind of this is honestly, screw my lunch analogy. We're in like the eye of the hurricane right now. We're in the eye of the hurricane because it's windy, it's rainy, it's been
No.
emotional, and now we're just right in the
Oh,
center where it's just all calm, all is quiet on the Western Front right now.
yeah. I'm feeling fine right now. Kind of mellow. Like your cut, Wes. Like your cut, G.
Do
Like
you?
my
Um,
shirt. What we rocking with the fit? Just came off the golf course.
yeah.
Okay.
But it's we're in a clean slate right now. I want to just leave all the Damian Lillard news behind us. I think we're all into that category now where we're not too emotional anymore. And I think looking forward is just the best thing we can all do as Blazers fans. And we got to ask ourselves, what does Joe Cronin need to do? Because no matter what he does, he's even if he made the worst moves possible, every decision he made, he's not going to get fired for a long time because he's a new GM. I mean, he could, but like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
I know what you mean.
So we're entering that phase as an NBA team that at least us fans have probably never experienced before since we've only been fans for like 10-ish, a little bit over 10 years. So yeah, we're entering that phase. Unlike most bad teams, we have fans. So that's like a big, I guess, difference. Like we're not Charlotte. We're not so like our fans are always going to be there for us. So I hope that we're not going to be a poverty franchise for a long time, but if we want to win a championship sometime down the road, we're going to be bad for some time, but just a question of how long that is and what Joe needs to do behind the scenes if because we're rebuilding. So I
Yeah.
like let's go. Like I'm on the train, so let's go.
Yeah. And just like briefly to make a point that you brought up right there, Cody, like we've only been a fan of this team for probably,
15 years, 15 years.
yeah, I mean,
Brandon Roy.
I remember, yeah, I would say Brandon Roy, but like we were young. We were like grade school, middle school. Like once Dame got to Portland is when like I
Yeah.
really remember grinding Blazer basketball. So pretty much all my memories as a Blazer fan is tied to Damian Lillard. So that's why it was an emotional time for not only us, but for a lot of fans because And even if you were a lifelong fan, yes, Brandon Roy and Aldridge were good, but they didn't really, and Drexler, Walton, but like Dame was like just as good as all those guys and loved the city that that we supported. So, and then the other thing is that, um, just with people being all emotional, um, it's now going to get to a point where, like you said, people are going to become more and more like, I guess it'd be like pragmatic and like just logical. I feel like a lot of people are going to go from, we just need to send Dame to wherever he wants to like start actually like not giving a crap because people are just getting tired of it. People are getting tired of the rumors. They're just going to start being like, all right, now I'm like not team Joe, but like team Blazers instead of team Dame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Team.
Well, the main portion of this podcast that will be Blazers like talk is we're just going to kind of just talk about, and it's kind of something we talk about a lot, but not in depth. I'm just like, how do the Blazers win a championship as a small market team? And the thing that stinks is we're going to say we don't want to talk about Damian Lillard. He's probably going to somehow be brought up in this conversation because he, the past 10 years, was thought to be a big part of possibly a future championship. But I think the biggest part of a small market team is you have to get that one star that will stay, and you have to have good ownership. And for the past 10 years, we've had a good star, but ever since Paul Allen passed away, our ownership has been shaky, whether that's because it's actually the owner's fault or if that's because we've been trying to go a different direction where we don't want to spend money. That's besides the point. I think we can all agree that having a good owner is game changer because like let's not act like Phoenix is a huge market here. And they got their star in Booker, and then boom, they started making win now moves. They also are able to draft Ayton, but let's not act like Ayton's some huge piece. They trade for Chris Paul. They make the right move. Some people called it bad at the time. He gave them great years. Then they draft well. They trade for Mikal Bridges on draft night. They sign good vets like Jay Crowder and Dario Saric. And then they finally make the huge move in Kevin Durant and then also Bradley Beal. And now many would say they're a top 3 championship contender after already being to the finals 2 years ago. So same thing with the Bucks. They get their star in Giannis. They get an under the radar guy in Chris Middleton. They get good vets. They buy low on Brook Lopez, turns him into a good player. Or not that he wasn't a good player, but turn him into an elite defender, knockdown 3-point shooter, and then make the big move for Jrue Holiday. So yep. I think Joe Cronin is trying to do that. I can disagree with the way he's doing it, but I think he's trying to lay that foundation right now, and hopefully sometime down the line he does those next steps that we're talking about. But where would you guys say like we are in terms of building that championship team? Like, how far are we?
I think we're far, but I wanted to bring up this point. Just looking at some basic history. So you got the Jordan era, obviously, but after that, since the 2000s, I'm talking about like in terms of big market and small market teams winning championships. It was all just San Antonio Lakers, Miami. I guess the Pistons got one in 2004, but it was pretty back and forth, just big market teams. I guess Dallas. Yeah, I would say Dallas is a big market team too.
Yeah.
Then we enter the 2010s. Spurs won 2014, Miami a lot. Golden State Warriors, Apple becomes the biggest company in freaking the Bay Area, just explodes. So they're the biggest market. And look what happened. The Golden State Warriors won 4 championships in a decade. So, but what's interesting is the last, I would say 4 years, we've had some interesting champions that I would argue small market team. I would argue Toronto is a small market team. I would argue the Bucks are a small market team. I would argue the Nuggets, who just won the championship 2 months ago, 1 month ago, are a small market team. So it's just an interesting it's just interesting thing to point out because I don't think Milwaukee is a more desirable place to live in than Portland at all. And even if it is, it's not by that much. So hopefully that trend continues because if more small market teams win, that just shows because that's what we need. That's what we need because we can't have this Lakers San Antonio thing going on. If that's, let's say now the Warriors or Celtics, we can't have them going back and forth the next 10 years. That's awful for us.
Yeah. One thing about the Suns and Bucks though is, and this is what the Blazers are now trying to do. The Suns and Bucks both were real. They were bad. Like they went through some pretty futile years.
Mhm.
So Suns weren't ever like they were. Yeah, no, they have eight first
Bucks not
overall,
as
and
much as Suns. Yeah, we're always really bad.
Bucks. I mean,
Bucks are different, kind of just because they did
I can
like,
remember the Jabari Parker, John Henson years.
but that was after they got Giannis. So
Yeah, but Giannis was a project. Um, but my point is that teams like the Lakers, Celtics, although the Celtics, I will give the Celtics credit, they fleeced Brooklyn in that KG Paul Pierce deal that landed them Tatum and Brown, which by the way, y'all saw Brown's deal?
yeah, we can get into that later.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Um, yeah, but I just think the Blazers as a small market team, you have to build correctly. And this is the first block is acquiring assets, attractive assets, young players, draft capital. On Paul George's podcast the other day, they did a draft of young players, and the number one overall pick was Anthony Simons, and then Scoot was like number 4 or something. Like the Blazers, people are not worried about Portland now, but I think once this Dame Band-Aid is ripped off and the move is completed and we can officially usher in a new era, I think other teams are going to be like, well, like Portland's got something cooking over there. Like, and I brought up OKC in the last podcast, but I think OKC is a good model. Now, OKC is still, they're probably halfway there. They got to the plan this year. They're halfway. They still have tons of draft capital and maybe they have some young players who can take leaps. And they have now their star in Shea. You can great player. Also, you can debate what category you want to put Shea in, but he's an elite player. So the Blazers, I think, are where you asked the question. They're at ground zero. It's ground zero right now, but there is a blueprint, and so Joe Cronin has a lot of things on his plate, but he has a great starting point. Like the Shaden, Anthony, Scoot, like columns, those building blocks, the foundation of this team. That's that's not a bad place to start. It's not a bad place to start.
Not at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Wanna,
It's I don't want to use this term like easy, but and maybe this is the only way Portland can win a championship because that is the reality of being in Portland. Like that is a real thing. I just think Joe is taking like the generic route. And again, he's super early in it, so it could change my mind, and it also could be the only option is like building through the draft. But I would just love to see one GM come through Portland and like make a move, make a big move.
Yeah,
and
I
I
think
don't think
Maybe that is the thing that we need to do because we've never tried it. I can't think of a move like the last big name player to come to Portland through trade is probably Scottie Pippen, and that was end of his career. Played with us for 2 years, and yeah, he was a part of the Western Conference Finals run, and we had a ton of success at that time. That's one of our best teams since the championship team. So again, this is Joe Cronin's first crack. So I mean, I don't blame him for going this route. I mean, we got Mike Schmitz because we want to get young and we want to, which by the way, we should have saw coming from a mile away. We get the best like NBA draft analysts from any network on television, and we expect we're not going to try to draft players.
Yeah.
So hindsight's 2020 on that.
um
I just don't know. I think we've done a lot of this drafting thing, and
we haven't, but we haven't because we've been drafting in the 20s because we've had playoff success. So, Anthony Simons at 24 was that
no,
the
no, I
Simons
know,
Gary
but
Trent
like
draft was great.
again, this is
Nas,
new GM, so it's different. But Dame was 6, Myers was 11, LMA was 2, B Roy was 7, Odin was 1.
that's what I'm saying.
Like I know, but I
That's
just wish we kind of took a different approach like one time. And again, maybe that's once Scoot and Shaden are great, and then we make the move for a star. That's what I'm banking on. I hope we're not only trying to build through the draft because that's a super hard thing to do. You have to.
I don't think they are. But you're right. They could be, but you have to. I think what we're forgetting is we probably, if you did a ranking of GMs from the 2010s, I think Neil O'Shea like actually might be dead last or second dead last. Like he was trash. He was awful, and he had probably there were probably 3 inflection points during the Dame era where he could have made the move, and he didn't. So I don't know. The Blazers, now you could be like, you could make the argument like, just be reckless. You're already bad now. Go try to get a big, I mean, Dame's already gone. So just assume there's no Dame anymore. Just go, like you have Jeremy Grant, go trade for Zach LaVine. You know, he's a good player, kind of a star. He's available.
No, I would, if we're going to
go make the plan.
Do that. Like, don't do what we did in 2015 or 2016 when we're good, when we didn't have the talent to actually be that good. Like now that we're committing this way, want us to fully commit this way. I was just basically saying, and again, that's why I say it's like the safe route, because it's probably the least amount of risk and would be the least amount of like public.
I would argue
that it hurts. Like if Scoot ends up bad, and no one's blaming Joe Cronin that he's bad. And or should they? Because we all expect Scoot to be really good. But if Joe Cronin traded for Jaylen Brown, and when we'll get into it, and gave him this big contract, and we flame out in the second round, then obviously we would get mad at Joe Cronin. So that's why I say it's a little more of the safe route. That doesn't mean it's not the smart route. I
would argue it's the correct route.
A lot of the champions the past, like, and just all time, make like these big time trade moves. And
when in their timeline do they do it immediately after their franchise player asks out?
Oh, I'm not saying do it now. No. I'm looking this. Oh, maybe I was misspoke, but I was more kind of going back to just the beginning of the summer, like what I wish we did.
Yeah. Well, let's just assume we've debated that ad nauseum, and we all know where we stand on that. And if you want to listen to that conversation, you can go to the past podcast from a few weeks ago. But yeah, let's just assume that this franchise is a day old. It started today. There's no Dame. So because
the ideal way I want us to go, I want us to stink the next year as bad as we. I want us to be really bad. Then I want to because the top of the draft, top 5 players ranked right now are all forwards or centers. So it's a good draft for us. We draft whoever we want to draft out of there. Then we play out that season. We don't make any big moves, and then we see where we are and we reassess. If that means, okay, we're punching toward the plan, we're punching toward the playoffs, let's move Anthony Simons, let's move Shaedon, then we do that.
Do you think Shaedon will be, if we win a championship in the next like 5+ years, do you think we've drafted our so-called diamond in the rough guy yet? Do we have that on our roster? Because you look at these last champions.
Good point. Every team.
Other than Steph Curry, I think Steph Curry is an exception because he's the best point guard of all time, and he's played with a beautiful construction, team-wise there in Golden State. But you have Giannis; he's almost 7 feet tall. LeBron James, Kawhi is pretty tall. I mean, all these guys are taller than Scoot, Simons. I mean, you got Tim Duncan. You go back to the Heat, that's LeBron again. Dirk, like, other than Steph Curry, who played with Kevin Durant, had Klay Thompson, I don't know if there's any guards necessarily that are winning these final MVPs. And like, sure, you got Tony Parker, but he's a piece. You know what I mean? Like, can the best player be 6'3"? And that's what we've been asking ourselves so many times. I think they can. Personally.
I mean, yeah, but you got to build a team like you did around Steph Curry, probably.
Yeah. Well, what I would say, okay, I'm gonna eliminate LeBron teams because he's, in my opinion, the best player of all time, and I'm gonna eliminate big market teams. So think of the last: Toronto, Milwaukee, Denver. Milwaukee and Denver won it by finding a diamond in the rough. Jokic is the definition of that. And Giannis wasn't, I don't think anyone expected Giannis to be, I mean, Giannis could have, look when he was like a rookie, he literally could have been Bol. You
can also argue the Raptors got a diamond in the rough because their second best player was Pascal Siakam, who was like 30th pick.
Exactly. But what I was gonna say is like, you're right, Cody, guards typically are the complementary pieces of a championship team outside Steph Curry. And that's kind of leaning back into the Dame era. That is why I wanted it to happen so bad, but I just in the back of my head, I was like, Dame really win a title here as the best player as an undersized guard? I really wanted it to happen, but that's just such a hard thing to do. Because like you said, like if you plug Dame into Golden State, yeah, Dame has a couple rings. We've talked about that, the Dame and Steph argument. I think Steph's the better player, better shooter. You can argue shooter. He is the better shooter. He's the better shooter, but
Yeah, he's a better player.
he's a better player. But Dame, it's not like Dame would have won any titles. Like he would have won titles in Golden State. But when it comes to the last three case studies in Toronto, Milwaukee, and Denver, it's either diamond in the rough or you make the riskiest, biggest trade like a Kawhi Leonard for DeMar DeRozan. And that's
clear way.
And in my opinion, I guess what I'm trying to get at is there are multiple ways to win a title as a quote unquote small market team or like not one of the big dogs. But I think it's reflective of your GM's personality. It's like Masai is a guy who will refuse to lose a deal. In fact, apparently he thought doing the OG deal last year for 7 Sharp and someone else would have been a loss for him. Or else I don't know why I would have done it. But he took a swing because he's that type of GM. Whereas Milwaukee and Denver, I don't want to call it easy, but it's drafting a diamond in the rough. Here's what I'll say about this. It's harder to find a diamond in the rough than make a big swing because there's guys out there who want to be traded. It's hard. But so it's much harder to draft. But if you find the diamond in the rough, it's much easier to win a championship. So that's if the Blazers want to go draft. I mean, they have Mike Schmidt. So, you can put your eggs in that basket if you want to, but it starts with the draft, unfortunately. I mean, you saw it in 2007, 2008, whenever the Aldridge, Odin, Roy trio went 52-10, and that was all homegrown talent. But eventually the Blazers will need a big.
Another thing that needs to happen is the ownership's not going to fly. The Blazers win a championship. Jody Allen will not be the owner of a Blazers championship team.
Ooh, I like that take.
I will promise you that.
A little spicy.
I looked up doing some research. So I want you guys to guess how many teams in the last 20 years, so since 2003, how many teams in the last 20 years, that last 20 NBA champions were in the luxury tax?
20. No,
I think
8.
all of them were.
Oh, they were?
All but 5 weren't. So 15 out of 20
was Detroit not?
I'm sorry. I'm saying that really badly. 5 teams won the championship and didn't pay any luxury tax.
Yeah.
They're the 2020 Lakers, the 2017 Warriors, the 2015 Warriors, the 2014 Spurs, and the 2006 Heat.
There's no shot the 2017 Warriors were in the luxury tax. That was after they signed Kevin Durant.
Well, according to this.
Yeah, I mean, it could be right. Yeah.
Unless this is, I mean, it is off Reddit, but it has a lot of credibility from just looking at all the likes and comments, but very interesting. And those 5 teams, by the way, that weren't in luxury tax, the Lakers, Warriors, they're all big market teams. Like there hasn't been a small market team to win championships that hasn't paid luxury tax. It's the first of everything, but unfortunately, Jody Allen, you're gone. I'm sorry, but
I agree. Just the more I think about it though, like, do I blame Jody Allen for not going in the luxury tax? Or it's not actually her, it's like Joe telling her, hey, I want to make this move. So can we do this to go in the luxury tax? But like, I don't think Joe ever probably asked her if she wants to go in the luxury tax because Joe probably this whole time was focused on rebuilding. So maybe Jody Allen does want to spend, but Joe Cronin is like, no, we'll spend in 3 years.
In her defense,
I would rather Phil Knight be my.
No, I agree, but I feel like, and I'm not sure how upper management works in the league because we haven't been around that obviously, but Joe Cronin and Jody Allen they've got to be on the same page. Like Joe Cronin's not. Jody Allen is definitely not being like, I want to spend, and Joe Allen's like, and Joe Cronin is looking around like, yeah, me too, and then backstab Jody and be like, actually, I'm going to rebuild, so she can't spend. Like they're on the same page. They both wanted to rebuild.
No, yeah, not that. I'm basically saying like
She does like she might want to spend in this next iteration if she sees. I
yeah,
don't know how
I don't
good
think
her basketball
Jody
knowledge is.
I don't think Jody is or this is again my devil's advocate. I think Jody is doing this, but the good side of Jody for like her being a good owner is, I mean, she has at most of the games, and maybe Joe Cronin, maybe she was like, okay, I'll just do exactly what Joe Cronin wants. If he comes to me and says I want to go in the luxury tax, I'll debate it and probably do it. If he never says anything, I won't say anything. And I'm saying maybe Joe Cronin just never was like, hey, we need to go in the luxury tax because we're going to try to go all in here.
In her
Maybe all the time he was
defense,
just like, we're gonna see if we can maybe make some noise. And if we really make noise with this Jeremy Grant, Josh Hart, Dame, Simons, like if we made the playoffs and we're like a top 4 seed last year or the 5 seed, we're probably, well, obviously we're not drafting Scoot because we don't have that pick, but we're probably looking to try to go a little more all in. Now, probably wouldn't have been successful because we wouldn't have had the pieces to go all in, but maybe Jody would have spent then because Joe was like, okay, well, we didn't tank, so
Yeah.
we can't rebuild. I got to try to do this with Dame, but maybe Joe
Mhm.
was kind of just thinking the whole time like, that's wouldn't be the worst thing if we end up with a top 3 pick in 2023.
only about like 5 to 12 teams. It looks like maybe even less, like 5 to 10 teams on average going to luxury tax every single year. So that does explain a lot, I guess. And I guess you can't be too mad at her because obviously, since Paul Allen died, none of these years were necessarily great years to go into luxury. I guess 2019, but other than that, we've been pretty booty the last couple of years. So I
Yeah, I
guess it
feel like
makes sense in that regard. But
it's not worth going in the luxury tax if you're not going to try to build a championship contender. So maybe, yeah, maybe, Joe. It's weird though because, yeah, we don't know how that works. I mean, there's many different ways it could have gone down, but the fact of the matter is no money was spent, and the superstar is going to be out. So that is unfortunate. But if the Blazers have a 5-year plan, this is what I'm doing. Like you said, Cole, just literally stink up the building. Just stink it up next
Let my
year.
hot take be true.
Stink it up. Go get a forward center. Go get a big that you can build. Because even if this was your team, and then you got like, even if like next year you traded for a star, you're not going to contend until one of Scoot or Shaden are like ready, and that's going to take a couple years. So
Jaw's not ready right now. He's great, but he's not going to be the best player on a championship team.
yeah, I mean that's crazy
Maybe in
because
2 years
people
he
think he's
will.
top 10 in the league,
Yeah.
but you got to stink it up next year. After that, years 2 through 4, there's really nothing you have to do. It's not really a year by year case. It's more you need to stink it up, get your required assets that you think you need at at certain positions. So, for example, you don't need to go draft a guard next year. Please don't draft a guard. If we stink it up and draft a guard next year, things things will be said. I'll just say that. You basically, and then one of those 3 guards, you just hope that they're on this bad team, they're going to get their stats, their numbers, they're going to improve because they're going to their PT. And you have got to find, like I said in the last podcast, a team that wants to bite, a team that, I don't know, a team that either has a disgruntled star, and maybe when he's Scoot's going to be the face of this draft class, like Wimby. This might sound like this is just the way the world works. Wimby is not American. So Wimby is not going to be, I don't think, the face of this draft class in the US. I think it is becoming a more global game, and I love that Giannis, Jokic, Luka, Embiid, these are all guys not from the States. But a face of American basketball from this draft class is going to be Scoot, because Scoot has been in a movie before. Like Scoot, like culturally probably connects the most with kids. So basically what I'm saying is there could be another young guy, a young superstar, young great player who's disgruntled. It's like, I want to play with Scoot because that's fun. I could be grasping at straws because then he could be like, I want to play with Scoot. Oh shit, it's Portland. Like I want to go there. just be the same old Portland. But
I feel like we heard a lot of people like want to play with Dame, but only if Dame comes to them.
yeah, well, also the GM doesn't want to make the deal for him, so there's that too.
I think, yeah, you summed it up pretty well. If I were to just give a brief 5-year plan down the road, I think the ideal scenario is tank next year, draft a forward. We're gonna hope and pray that this project forward develops into a Tatum type player, a Luka type player, a Jokic type player, because we need that. I think Jody has to go. I think we trade either.
Wait,
two-
Cody. Wait, Cody, quickly. Jody has to go. Who's gonna fire her?
I know.
She has to
Joe.
sell the team at some point. It literally says in Paul Allen's will. Like I just don't.
Oh, did I say the word fire?
No. You just said
Oh.
she has to go. Like I
Oh,
don't know.
no, I didn't. No,
just
yeah, I know.
I just thought when you said that I was like she like can't decide first. Like she's
Fire Jody, fire the owner. Yeah, that's how companies work. And then, but yeah, she has to go. Trade Ant or Sharp or Scoot. Once they flourish, average 20 plus points. Ant's already at that moment. But next year, I think Scoot or Sharp, or the following year at least, I think one of them can average 20 points if we're the worst team in the league. You trade,
I mean, who's gonna
maybe
put the ball in the hoop? So I hope.
stink another year, and then we swing. We swing all that Scoot, Ant, trade value, whoever we decide
Wait,
to trade
West,
down the
West.
road.
When Neil was up to bat, what did he do when he was up to bat?
He didn't swing.
Oh yeah, sorry, Neil.
Strike one, strike two,
Strike two,
strike
strike
three.
three. But this time around, Joe will actually swing because we have a project forward that will be our finals MVP in 2028. That's the ideal scenario. And we go into luxury with our new owner. So
I mean, look,
That was great.
this is a rose-colored through the rose-colored glasses take here because the dark side of this project of this rebuild is maybe injuries or they just don't turn out. We draft another Greg Oden who looks good. There's just it's tough, man. Young
Or
players are
Joe
fickle.
Kern just sucks at being a GM.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
maybe Joe. I mean, we also have Jeremy Grant. Like Jeremy Grant's a big contract that can be moved in the future. I'm almost taking the stance as a fan now. Like, other than for some reason, it's like Scoot has a special place in my heart because Scoot to me is going to be connected to Dame. Like he just will be. That's just the way it is. Maybe it's fair, maybe it's not. I don't care. Every other player, like I used to be like Blazer, like Nick Stauskas, 24 points opening night. We got to keep him on the roster. He's good vibes. If you're not producing for this team or like you're not building towards a championship contender, get the hell out. Like I'm not going to be loyal anymore. Like if Jeremy Grant averages 24, but he's not playing defense or rebounding, grab your bags, buddy.
yep.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this too. Blazer, I'm assuming other fan bases do this as well because every fan looks at their team like it's better than it actually is. But we've done our fair share of overvaluing Blazer players. So, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, we get very attached to players, which is good, but I think we need to be attached towards the goal more.
Yeah, I guess.
Long term. But,
I agree.
Game by game, next year. I want us to suck, but I'll be rooting to win because who knows? Jeremy Grant is like Western Conference Player of the Month. We're 12-3. Cody and I say we get the 3 seed, and then we, just be ass.
Yeah,
that's what happened last.
Really interesting just how I'm going to approach next year
That's
because
scary.
we all know we're not winning a championship. We all know we're not having success.
Can we promise each other one thing? If
What?
we win on opening night this year and Scoot/Ant/Shaden, one of them has over 30, can we not declare that it's a playoff team?
Yes, we will not declare that for sure.
I really just be just like, I saw defense only gave up 102 points. I mean, this is probably a top 15 defensive team. I mean, like, is Scoot an MVP candidate?
Yeah, but the dark side, you know what the real dark side is? We become Sacramento the next 15 years, which could happen. Imagine we just suck every year. We're just pinned on the bottom. We can never get lucky.
I mean, when you do suck,
and we are the
worst
worst
possibility that you keep sucking.
like I'm gonna be 35 years old, and I'm gonna be like, we haven't made the playoffs since I was in high school, like, and that's gonna be true. Oh,
Like, you think
please.
Sacramento thought they were going to be that bad when after they made it to the Western Conference Finals in 2002, and then didn't make it again until this
With what, Mike
last
Bibby?
year?
Yeah, and they still got smoked by Golden State.
That's literally a good point because like as when you do bottom out, as good as the talent you draft, again they have to produce. Like there's been elite talent that hasn't produced, even if they had a ton of hype. Like Andrew Wiggins is obviously a solid player now, but he never contributed to winning when he was the best player on the team. I'm not saying Scoot's going to be Andrew
But the
Wiggins, but
Kings,
like
the
it's
Kings are
possibility.
dysfunctional. The Kings are dysfunctional, and I'm
They
not.
weren't
The
just they.
Blazers aren't.
The only reason they're dysfunctional now is because they had that long. They weren't dysfunctional when they started
It's our
this
fans,
in
guys. I think
2003. They were
that
not
makes a
dysfunctional.
difference. It's our
Well, they got
fans.
dysfunctional when they like when it was like ownership changed, or they just like they their goal was to make the playoffs. But I just remember like they had like all these, I don't know, their roster construction always stunk. They just
Yeah,
never could
maybe
make
they
that
got
next
like a new
step.
GM or new owner or something. But all I'm saying is like when you do hit the bottom of the barrel, let's like
You could be there.
not take for granted how easy we think it could be to get out. I think we will get out. I'm saying we will, but it's always a possibility you stay there because it's harder. It's hard to get good in the NBA. And once you're
I
good,
agree.
I should try to sustain that as long as possible until it clearly has a ceiling.
I think the difference that Portland has is a passionate fan base, and a
Yep.
fan base that desires winning and excellence. And for being such a small market team and such a like
No, we're like a
the
top 10 winning
opposite of a free
team of
agent
all time.
destination, there's some history with Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah.
Like Nike, like the movie Air with Nike, and even just like Bill Walton in the 70s, and just Blazer Mania and Jack Ramsey. Like there's just there's history, like league history that went through Portland. So I don't know. The Blazers have a passionate fan base, and the fans have influence. That's what I'll say to everyone listening to this. The fans have
Yeah.
influence. Demand a good team. Like, look, we saw the Sacramento fans like in the playoffs, but it wasn't like in 2015 they were like, we need a good team. Like it was crickets
No,
in Sacramento.
they were the worst. I did a video on this. They had one of the worst attendance throughout the whole 2010s, and then they make the playoffs, and suddenly their fans are good. No, they're gonna be
Again,
gone
hey,
once they suck again in 2 years. This
I'm
is
gonna
how
be
it is.
I'm gonna be devil's advocate again,
All right.
like the negative side of the Blazers. But when is the last time the Blazers were like actually bad though? In our lifetime, we haven't seen them be like atrocious.
The
No, like
Jailblazers.
2006. Yeah.
And
Fourth.
I don't
Yeah.
know what the attendance numbers were then, but we were they good? Were they bad?
I would
I
imagine
can
it was very
look.
good, but I think a big portion of it where there were like literally like not upstanding citizens on that team.
Yeah.
So like people didn't want
Um,
to support that. It'd be like, I don't know. But you want to know you said that's the worst scenario. You want to know what the doomsday scenario is? Doomsday?
what?
Literal, it won't happen, but the doomsday is in 2026. The Portland Trailblazers are the Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah, that's a doomsday. That is quite the doomsday. Wow, that would
Dude,
be cool if that
what
happened.
if what if like your favorite team just ceased to
Guys, real
exist?
quick. In 2006, the Blazers had the worst attendance in the NBA. Very worst. I mean, I feel like it's an
Was
outlier
that
because
that was Aldridge's rookie year?
2007
And he
we
was
were 20,
drafted in '06. So
2007 we were 22nd, and then it was all up from there.
yeah, again, your fans, as much as we say the Blazers have great fans, like just like
But
any other
that was
base,
one year. That was
if
one year.
you suck,
2005 we were
if you
fine.
suck, you're not gonna
But
have great fans. Like that's okay.
right, I agree.
Nothing wrong with
But
that.
I think the Blazers have a silver lining because I feel like 2005, the team, like it was the Jailblazer era. Okay. We had no success before that. 2005, we bottom out and like are the second worst team in the league to get Aldridge. We've
Hey,
had since sustained we've had Damian Lillard who puts butts in seats. And then we now have like like Wimby. We have the biggest US based prospect who's like been professional for 2 years. He's got a cool name, Scoot. Everyone knows who he is. I feel like so people at least early in the year are going to want to come watch him play. I don't know. I get what you're saying.
And we'll be like, what were we last year in attendance? Or what were we when we
let me
made the
look.
Western Conference Finals? Like last year, we were actually like really good. Or
The Western Conference Finals.
2021 maybe because we were good that year. I don't want to take last
2021.
year's attendance into account, really, even though that could be a picture into what this year could look like,
Oh
maybe.
wait, well, no, that's COVID. Hang on, that's
Oh,
good.
yeah, just 2019 then. Yeah. Can't do anything for
2019.
3 years past because,
We were seventh in
seventh.
2019.
Okay. I'll be interested to see like where
I
we
think we'll be bottom teens.
I
No,
think you
I
will
think I'm
too.
gonna push back on everything I said because these show that our attendance has been good even when we were bad. 2005, we were above half. 2007, we were above half. That was just 1 year. So
Yeah.
Blazer fans
Um,
are always
but
great.
I mean, it'll just be, I will just be interested. I think
The
our fans
last,
will show up. I'll show up.
the last, it's
Oh,
the
maybe not. I
last
might be enjoying
quick.
my
Look at last year. I bet last year was pretty bad. Nope, we were number 10. Like we're good. Blazers.
What else are they gonna do
Yeah.
in Portland?
And
Portlanders love their team.
the last like quick point that kind of like has to do with that, I feel like is like this is the only, yes, you have the Timbers, but this is the
Yeah.
only major sports franchise in the city.
Either that or just like do some
This
bad.
isn't like this is different than Sacramento because there's literally like 20 other options in California. And Sacramento, like if you did a ranking of like biggest fan bases in California, like Sacramento might be last. Like the San Jose Sharks, the hockey team might have more than the Kings. Or the Anaheim Ducks. Like I'm not even kidding. So I don't know. It's a new journey that we're embarking on here. And right now, Joe Cronin, our protagonist, is on his walk.
Yeah.
He is
Probably is walking.
relaxing. It
He's
is
literally
post summer
on a walk
league.
right now.
It is post summer league. I'm gonna set the stage for you guys. This is what
Probably getting a haircut.
Hmm.
I said he's probably getting a haircut.
Funny.
It's impossible.
These are what my sources were telling me. It is the doldrums of the offseason. Joe Cronin is going for walks every morning. He has disconnected his phone. He has blocked the Miami phone number. He is not interested in any trade requests right now. He is going to sit and have Damian Lillard hostage in Portland for as long as he desires. But he's just lying in wait, Joe Cronin. Joe Cronin is, he might be sleeping. He might be taking a nap. He's been taking one
He's
since free
sleeping on the
agency
Blazers.
started. He's been taking a nap since free agency started, but he's resting up for the next 5 to 8 years of the journey to get to an NBA championship. I'm going to bookmark this. So in 4 years, when we're going to have the number 2 overall pick, I can make fun of myself.
You did wake up for one thing and one thing only, and just cut Trent and Watford. Still don't know why that happened, but we've been at this for like 45 minutes.
Low key, he might have been sleepwalking there because I don't think he meant to do that.
There's no shot. We said at the beginning of the podcast we had nothing to talk about. We were just gonna milk out a 15-minute, 20-minute segment, and we're like 45 minutes in. Not much else to discuss. I just want to hear quickly your thoughts on a guy we were previously targeting in a trade, and we would have had to give him this contract. Jaylen Brown, where are you standing on the contract?
We would have had to pay this guy. It's going to be over 60 million, right?
69 million in his final year. I don't know when it is, like 27, 28, 28, 29.
That's
they
crazy.
They do it again. But yeah, that's an absurd amount of money. I don't really know how I feel about it because I do think contracts are a little unless you're talking about a Russell Westbrook or a Tobias Harris, guys that are clearly not that guy. But I think Jaylen Brown will still be all-star level or all NBA possible level for the next 5 years. Sure, it's an overpay, but I mean, every star that gets paid after Jaylen Brown that's made a couple all-NBA teams is going to be an overpay at this point.
Yeah, it says it's the richest NBA contract of all time to date. But that's obviously the record's going to be broken probably later this summer as someone else signs. I mean, that's just how it works. It goes up every year. So honestly, not that surprising. I mean, wow, that's crazy. The richest contract of all time to an NBA player, and he's not top 10 cleanly. So
Herbert got the richest contract in NFL history today.
And we would have had to pay Jaylen Brown more than Dame. So that already.
The reality of this inflation and things going up, more money to throw around. But yeah, it's not a great contract.
Scoot's gonna get a bag.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't think I would have been mad if the Blazers gave him that contract though, if he was on the team.
Speaking of money, we have the Kylian Mbappe over there in Europe, wherever Europe is, he got offered from Dubai League,
Saudi.
Saudi, over $1.1 billion contract after all the tax and crap. He's gonna be taking home 776
No, no,
million.
no, 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 no. It's like the transfer fee to get him to that would
Yeah.
pay to PSG is like over 300, it's like 330 million. His contract would be 1 year, 776, and he takes home all that because there's no tax.
That's what I just said. Or no
No,
tax.
but you were saying
Okay.
like, yeah.
Anyway,
Okay,
how we feel about that? That is more than probably the top 20 NFL players combined, probably more than the top 10 NBA
It's
players
more than
combined.
that. It's like, dude, the most expensive contract.
Oh yeah, it's going to be
It's
top
like
20
more than the
NBA
top
players.
30 NBA players or top 20 NBA players.
In equivalence, that's like China offering LeBron like $1 billion contract and then him just playing for the Shanghai Sharks. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think Mbappe should do it. Do it for a year because then he's just going to go a good team after. It's just for a year.
If I'm Mbappe, I'm doing that.
But then again, we also have these conversations with golf about like going to play for the Saudis and get paid like 200 million. But that's different because it's not just for a year and you could go back. Okay, who cares?
Did you guys watch Messi's debut game?
I did.
I watched this game against
Smoked our
Atlanta.
hometown team tonight.
If you
4-0.
guys, oh damn! If you guys don't know, Messi best player of all time, playing in the
Yeah, we got
States.
to. Yes, sir.
States,
He
dude.
is.
I've been watching MLS since 2013. It's awesome that
Dude, that they're gonna
Messi is
after
in
watching
our
this
league,
game,
bro.
after watching this game against Atlanta or seeing the score, they might actually just like cook the league.
Yeah, they're actually
They
like
were
the
the worst.
Miami Lakers because they're just getting all the good players. Like they have what 3 Barca players by next year,
Yeah, something like that.
former Barcelona players. It's kind of stupid, but it's honestly good for the USA in my opinion. And then probably means our Portland Timbers aren't going to do anything anytime
Did
soon.
you say you almost went to a Timbers game or no? One of the games you were like, I
You
almost
almost went to the
it.
crew game, right?
Oh yeah.
You gonna go to any in the future before you head back to college?
Oh yeah, I'll go to some, but there's one tomorrow, but League Cup, But
Yeah, I don't care
there's
about
none
the
until
League Cup.
August. So
Bro.
I want to see Messi play. He'll
He
probably
plays in
come.
Atlanta on the 15th.
You
But like,
guys
if
got.
you wanted to sell our tickets, it's like 2K each. So like that's pretty good.
You should sell them
Yeah.
or not. I don't know.
Dude, we're going to see Messi.
I'll sell my
There's
ticket if I can take home the 2K.
facts.
That's
Literally.
But
crazy.
like,
You guys could make $2,000 if you sell your ticket just because Messi. That is insane.
it's wild.
That's why he got that piece of revenue share from Apple
Mhm.
and from Adidas.
Still a better purchase than going to a Taylor Swift concert. Oh my God, these things are going for. It's got to be one of the most expensive concerts of all time right now going on this summer.
Yeah, that's wild, bro. Crazy.
Question for you guys. Question for you guys.
Oh, okay, go for it.
Would you rather go to Taylor Swift concert or Game 5 of the NBA Finals? And Blazers are not there, but where would you rather go?
I'm gonna go Game 5 of the NBA Finals.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But
That's crazy how this world works.
Most girls would pick Taylor Swift. I feel like
It's just crazy how things work. That's all.
it's crazy how that works, man. I had an interesting game. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's doable, but I was gonna try to say, can you name a either current or former Blazer player that not like can you name a player from every team that used to play for the Blazers, like past or present?
Yeah, let's try, I guess.
So like starting now and go back in time.
So like
Go
name a
through
player.
every other 29 team in the NBA and like say a player that played for the Hawks and Blazers, say a player that played for the Celtics and Blazers, like that.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
tough.
good.
I think we could.
Like if we started with the Jazz. Or we start what?
Cantor.
And it's Cantor play for the Jazz.
Freedom, excuse me. Huh, my mistake.
Freedom.
Freedom. We go.
The Nuggets.
Oh,
Nurk.
Nurk.
The Timberwolves.
Um,
Shabazz.
All right.
yeah, Shabazz.
I was gonna say Dante Cunningham, but okay.
Yeah. Thunder.
The Thunder.
Mello.
Melo.
Yeah. Let's go Lakers.
Winyan Gabriel.
Mo Harkless. Wait, no, he's on the Clippers.
Clippers.
Mo Harkless.
Mo Harkless. Give me
play for
the.
the Clippers. We
Yeah.
positive about that. I don't know.
Oh my, so positive, bro. He literally started for them.
Yep.
Are you
he
gonna say?
was on
Are you really saying? I might be wrong, but
Look up like Mo Harkless' career, dude. He went right to the Clips.
he played for the Clippers just the year after the Blazers.
Yeah.
So,
Like I said,
counts.
went straight to the Clips.
he did. Warriors.
Oh, I have one. Gary Payton.
The second.
That guy sucks.
Suns.
Drew Eubanks now.
Yeah.
What about the Kings?
Kings. Whiteside.
Oh, I guess Whiteside technically both the Kings, sure.
There's so many Kings players.
Spurs. Zach Collins.
Mavs.
That's a tough one.
Mavs.
Wesley Matthews.
Ah, nice.
Rockets.
Rockets. I got it.
Trevor Ariza.
Pelicans.
That'll work. CJ McCollum.
Oh,
Grizzlies. I got a shout.
I said Dylan Brooks. He played for Oregon.
You got to go back to the Jailblazers.
Zach Randolph.
Zach Randolph.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the East. Let's go Toronto.
Gary Payton or Gary Trent Jr. Excuse me. That guy right there. This is literally Gary Trent Jr. jersey.
Knicks.
Josh Hart.
Beautiful.
Nets.
That's a good one.
I have one.
Who?
I have two actually.
Who?
Alan Crabb.
Did
Patty Mills.
Alan Crabb play for the Nets? Or did they just give him that contract and we matched? I feel like he played for Patty Mills works.
Celtics.
Freedom.
Can't do same player. Let's say that.
Celtics. Who played for the Celtics?
I got one.
Who?
ET.
Yep.
I didn't even know he played for the Celtics.
That's where he came from, and we gave him that bag.
76ers.
Seth Curry.
Seth Curry will play. Let's go to the Central. Let's go Cavs.
Ooh, I got one.
For the Cavs, I have one too because it was on Hoopsker the other day.
Yeah, this dude was a double machine when we were just mid playoff team. JJ Hickson. I don't even think we were a playoff team with him. JJ Hickson.
Yeah.
Or Rodney Hood.
Pacers.
I wish Miles Turner.
I wish.
Paul George. But we're gonna have to settle
Pacers.
for
Miles Turner.
Ooh, this is tough. I don't know. You gotta think there was a guy that played for both teams. Oh, it's just mid.
We can come back to Pacers if we need to.
Yeah, let's come back to it.
All right, let's go Bucks.
Pat Connaughton.
Bulls.
What?
I have one.
Can I say Scottie Pippen?
That's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna say Scotty.
You can say Scottie Pippen.
You can say Scottie Pippen.
Can.
Okay,
It's 20 years ago.
Pistons. Classic.
Classic.
JG.
Mason Plumlee too. Who's JD?
JG.
Oh, Jeremy. Yeah.
Jeremy. Okay, we're gonna leave Pacers. Let's go to the Wizards.
Oh,
Yeah.
I said Ariza already.
Oh my God. What about
Will Barton.
Martell Webster?
Yeah.
Why did I think of him?
Martell Webster, bro? What a pull. Let's go Hornets.
Blazers have played for Wizards. Let's see. Yep, Martell Webster, Steve Blake.
Oh, please, like Hornets up to him.
Tim. Hawks.
Fox.
Bazemore.
Basemore. Yikes. What about?
Magic.
Ooh, I got a great one.
Oh, I have one too.
Great one. He gets cooked by his coaches.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a bust.
Mario Hazonia.
Mario Hazanja.
And he is can be. Oh, we already did Whiteside.
Oh, what
Yeah.
Miami? You already know who we're gonna go with. Myers.
Myers, yeah.
All right, Pacers boys.
Pacers.
Rick.
Pacers.
For some reason, I feel like this guy played for the Pacers.
Oh,
Luke Babbitt.
yeah.
Cody, can we get a fact check if Luke Babbitt played for the Pacers?
What? Give me a second. No,
Damn it.
unfortunately not.
Just who were like the
Like a journeyman, like a Chris Kaman type beat.
type of beat? What about like a Gerald Henderson? He did not.
Nick Stauskas?
I'm not positive. It's gotta be
Did Jermaine O'Neal play in Portland?
Yeah, he did. Jermaine O'Neal works great. He was on the Trailblazers.
Let's go. Good job. All right. The last one, you have everyone has 1 minute to think. You need to give me, you can't be pre-2010. Okay. Actually,
Okay.
we'll say the B Roy era and after. So you
Okay.
can't dip into like the Trailblazers and back. Give me the most obscure Blazer that you can think of.
Oof, okay.
Without looking it up, Cody.
Look, this one is not obscure because you say his name a lot, but like the one that always comes to mind is Joel Prisbilla. Like, just what a guy.
Just the most random Blazer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, 1 minute.
I want to come up with someone funny.
Yeah, me too.
All right, I have a decent one.
Well, let me think longer.
I want to think of someone random. Hang on. I mean, I have some options, but they're not funny enough.
I have no clue, man. I mean, I want to find someone more obscure.
Joel Prince Villa is phenomenal.
All right, I got mine. Let's do
Travis Outlaw.
Travis Outlaw. He was solid. The two, actually, I have technically three that you go first, West.
I was gonna go with Jared Bayless.
Bayless. I was gonna say Joel Freeland.
Wow.
And then I was also gonna say Darrell Wright.
Darrell Wright.
Solid player. What about the Spanish sensation? I don't know if he's Spanish actually. Victor Claver.
Yeah.
What about Anthony Culver?
Oh,
Wade Baldwin the fourth.
they get more funny the longer back you go. But
Make it Joel Prisbilla.
okay.
Dante Cunningham. That's crazy. Nolan Smith.
Ready? I'm just gonna look up the 2008 Blazers roster and just give you an obscure name on there.
Mario Hazonia.
Honestly, there's no one crazy. Like Prisbilla is so great.
Isabella.
It's Dante Cunningham. Wow, Anthony Tolliver was on the Blazers in 2009.
Oh,
Oh
no
my
way.
gosh.
Wow.
No one
Marcus
could.
Camby.
Marcus Camby, yeah. Just gonna come up with one more name. Ooh, no, that's not a funny name though. I was gonna say Ronnie Price. That short little point guard we had.
Hashim Tibet.
Hashim Thabit.
Tibet. Sorry. Oh wow, I have one.
Who?
Eric Maynor.
Eric Maynor. I liked him.
Barely remember that.
One of who was a obscure starter, the guy that started. You want to know who started some games like 2016, 2017?
Wait, let me
Aaron
guess. Let me
Feldman.
guess. We got to guess.
No,
Aminu.
no.
Harkless.
It's no one that he did not like. Don't think of a guy that actually was a starter when we were
Jake Lehman.
Jake Lehman.
Wow.
He's the dude that when they were running out of the tunnel when he was on the Timberwolves and he was like, "Hey Jake, you're getting on how many minutes you getting tonight?" And he goes, but that's all we got. Okay. We actually this might be over an hour somehow. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks for listening.
And we'll see you in the next podcast. Go follow the Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and all those fun stuff to catch up on the limited Blazer news that is going on in the next couple of weeks and months. So thanks, guys. Peace.